My name is Danielle Deane Ryan, and I am so blessed to have had the opportunity to collaborate with Professor Manuel Pastor and his ERI team over the past years since its earliest days. During the course of my career, I've worked at different foundations, and every dollar I was able to invest from those foundations into the work of the Equity Research Institute has been money so well spent. Excellent return on investment in the march towards economic and environmental justice. The trust that communities have in Professor Pastor and his team and ERI was really apparent to me early on as I consulted with environmental justice leaders and asked them what they needed, who else to talk to. A constant refrain was, have you spoken already to Professor Manuel Pastor and his team over at USC? Manuel and his partners are the types of scholars that are not afraid to have their approach and their research tested and shaped by a lot of the communities that they are trying to help. They're not content with simply getting their scholarship into excellent journals and hoping by some kind of trickle-down impact it's going to have some kind of impact in the real world. They're best in class when it comes to participatory research and have shown time and time again that when you are collaborating and engaging with policy and with those doing the work on the ground, that what you actually get is higher quality research. What you get is more rigorous scholarship. And it's the kind of research, because of how it's done, that is more likely to have a lot of impact in the world. Professor Pastor and his team have introduced terms like the climate gap into the lexicon. We know how critical it is to ensure that we have the kind of data partnership and information to assess whether we are closing the climate gap and making sure that we are replicating what's working and being careful about what's not, being rigorous about that. Professor Pastor and the ERI team have wrestled with the implementation of policies that are needed to help shift systems in order to get the better outcomes that we need. And then they've gone further in terms of sharing those lessons. And you can see the fingerprints of this in current federal policy. As you look at the historic efforts that are being made with the Justice 40 initiative to ensure that every dollar that we spend, our tax dollars, actually impact the communities that we serve and that we're measuring that, you can trace some of that back to the work that Professor Pastor and his team have done, both when it comes to data, to examples, to the way in which you engage communities. Last, Manuel and his team have paid so much attention to something that we need more than ever, which is communications. It's part of the secret sauce of ERI and their team. It's so critical given the current media environment as well. Professor Pastor and his team have generously mentored so many people, including me, that are working to be better allies and build power in the fight towards environmental and economic justice. And they're humble and happy warriors, even as they're taking on difficult issues. The team meets people where they are, but doesn't leave them there. And that applies to policymakers, to environmental leaders that are new to environmental justice, to foundations and philanthropies that often call on them for guidance. And so we are really looking forward to seeing the foundation that they have laid, the work that they have done, really bear a lot of fruit in the future across different states in the federal government and for communities as the work and the implementation has the opportunity to drive millions of dollars towards those communities that need it the most. Congratulations to ERI on your 15th anniversary. I look forward to your next 15 years during this critical time as you work to continue to partner with communities, learn with and for them, and get the data and the rigorous scholarship that we need to make sure that we continue accelerating on a path to address transition.